successful, your guys, this year? I mean, how would you kind of assess where they are now as you get ready for the heart of the SEC?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been proud of them. I'm proud of the entire group, and we've talked about it from day one about the standard, where it's at, and how we go about practice and go about games. And so they lived up to it so far. I've been proud of Dylan and Woody and Simeon and the rest of that crew. So now it's just keep on doing the little things and concentrating on technique and effort and doing the best they possibly can.
Who'd you assess preseason about wanting to see your guys make explosive plays? And so far, Dylan and Woody and Simeon have all done that.
Yes, sir.
I think Dylan and Woody both have career long runs. Is that kind of how do you keep that consistency and keep that rolling?
Absolutely. I mean, every play is important. We talk about, and so they never know when that opportunity is going to arise. And so, especially at running back, we just got to play it and take it play by play and do the best we possibly can. And so, I've been proud whenever we do get an opportunity to have explosive. They've been taking advantage of it, and so hopefully we can continue to do a great job offensive line wise, and Will doing a great job of great checks and getting that rock into our hands.
How would you assess the blocking from your unit? It seemed like they were better this past week than against LSU.
Mm-hmm. We can always, I tell everybody, we can always improve, and it's a mentality that we always got to improve on, and technique and that type of stuff. But it's tough. I'm like some of those guys that you got to go up against. It may be a linebacker that's 5'11", 215, 220, 230. That's quick, or I think LSU put one of their defensive ends at linebacker and brought him through, and Woody did a heck of a job of cutting them, but he was all 6'5", 285. So, but it's about technique and mentality, and hopefully we continue to improve and go in the right direction.
Not to give the game plan away or anything, but do you see Woody and DJ as kind of being interchangeable? Are there certain sets that you kind of prefer to have a different guy on the field?
I'll tell you this: I like the fresh guy, and so I try to monitor their reps the best I possibly can. And if I see any type of lag or anything like that, boom, the next guy's in. And I'll tell you this: I trust them, and that's the biggest thing. It's about trust and making sure that they're going to go out and do their job and do what's best for this unit and this team, and also Mississippi State. So it's been good, and I kind of got that mentality: next man up, and let's go to work.
You mentioned wanting the fresh guy there. I mean, you saw a little more tempo from you guys. If it's a situation where you want to go a little faster on the drive, is that just keeping the guy then for the next drive, or do you try to sneak him in there somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll try to give him a heads up ahead of time. I say, hey, in 2 plays, hey, make sure you're hot and ready to go. And so obviously we got to see formation, some of that other stuff, and with tempo and that type of stuff. But as long as they're fresh and going and showing the effort that I want them to, I'm going to keep them in.
What did you think of Simeon's first career touchdown?
Oh, I was fired up. I told him, I said, hey, whenever we do get into the end zone, I can't run out on the field, but I'll be the first one to give you a hug. And so I was trying to jump on his back, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But it was awesome. I was proud of him, and he had the biggest grin like he won the lottery. So it was good.
How's Woody been?
Woody's been fantastic. He's good and ready to go. And I know he was biting at the bits last week of trying to get out there and play. And obviously we had to take his helmet and his pads and all that other stuff so he couldn't get out there. So, but I love that about him. He's a warrior.
With A&M coming up this weekend, what are the biggest things that you guys have been focusing on in practice?
The biggest thing is consistency. What we talked about last week. We got to execute. They got a good ball club, obviously up front, and I think one of their strengths is their secondary. And so they've been doing a great job. I think they're averaging giving up 12 points a game or something like that. And so Coach Durkin and those guys are doing a great job. So it will be a big challenge for us. But, obviously I know they're probably preaching the same thing. It's about us, and it's about execution and not about them. So it'll be a good matchup.
Your unit, how would you kind of assess how they did as a group?
Always improving, ever improving. Still some work to be done there, but across the board, I think it was a good effort, and have to build on that for this week.
What did you think of the kick? What's it like, seeing Ben, land a 53-yarder like that?
High expectations. I expect to make them all. So that's he's got the tool for it to be just nice and easy, kind of relax, skip through the ball, and let his leg do the work, and good result.
Coach Leach was talking about falling a bit behind in that kicking competition. He said that he would go out there if he had to. Have you seen him ever kick before? Has he ever attempted one before?
Yeah, he's way behind from what I've seen. But no, we got to do our job first and foremost. But it's good to put a little pressure on Ben anyway.
How quick was the call to go ahead and go for 3 in that situation instead of trying 4th down?
you know what, return to a 3-point team here. So I think that's a good deal for us. But no, it's just opportunity presented itself where too short of a field for a punt, too long for it to go for a 4th down. We got an opportunity to kick it. We can do it. So it was good to get the call and then good to execute.
What does it do for a guy's confidence when he makes it? It matters for that for the whole unit's confidence when he makes it.
Yeah, that was big. That was big, and just kind of continue. One play at a time, one kick at a time. One game at a time. So we'll go out there and just keep on building on that momentum.
I know that there's no excuses for any of them, but there's a rash of either missed or blocked 1-pointers all across college football. Well, what's going on in the sport?
Yeah, good question. You just gotta do your job. That's a lot of things go into it, but at the end of the day, we practice as much as anybody else. So you got to, even on the ones that aren't perfect, they still got to go through the pipes.
A&M's pretty strong special teams wise too, and you got to size those guys up. They don't allow much in kick returns or punt returns. I mean, what do they do that makes them so successful?
They've got some talented specialists, and some guys at the returner positions that are difference makers. Their kickoff guy, we're hoping for an opportunity or two. It's a big touchback guy, but we get one shot. We got to be ready for it, and we got to make the most of that opportunity. Punter, same thing. Punter's a big hang time guy with good yardage. But again, if we can do our job up front and block and give Xavier a chance, then I think we'll be in good shape.
You knew from the Stats Bowling Green was a team that more than likely you'd get a chance to return a kick, but most SEC programs do go for touchbacks. How do you keep your guys sharp, whether it's the blockers, the returners, to say this may be your one chance, you never know when it's coming?
Yeah, I think that's, just preach it all the time. That's just a constant maintenance item that can't relax on any one play. And then when you got guys like we have back there returning kicks, you can't be the guy that lets your teammates down or lets that guy down. We want to give that guy a chance, so it's on you. Don't be the guy we turn the film on Sunday. We can point at and say, hey, here's the one guy who didn't block, that type of thing. So
on one of the kickoffs, Tulu just came over and basically took the ball away from Xavier. He wanted to return it that bad.
Yeah. That was the plan, actually, going in. So anything up to that hash was Tulu's ball, and then anything outside that was Xavier. So it's a good job by him, and just aggressive with the ball in his hands, and love to see that from him.
Talk about the job Xavier's doing back there.
Yeah, true freshman. True freshman, and just kind of bringing him on, bringing him along. But the fact that he's kind of fearless back there and courageous, and again, he wants to make plays too. Caught a couple in traffic last week, not blocked up perfectly, and still trying to make some plays out of it. So he's going to keep getting better, keep improving.
You were complimentary on social media this week of Jack Harris and his performance. I guess what would you like that you saw from him?
Shoot, he's one of our snap leaders on special teams, and 3 kick returns, and fits his guy up all 3 times. So his block was one of the key ones to kind of spring the returner. He's a wing guy on field goal in the field unit. He's in the punch shield, so he's in there making sure that the punter's clean and protected. And he's out there on kickoff, solo tackle on kickoff. So just across the board, if everybody plays like Jack Harris next week, we'll be in good shape.
Those punt protect teams, does that competition go on during the season? Can jobs change?
Jobs can change. Jobs can change. The biggest thing is protection first always is the main thing, and then after that, who's going to run, who's going to make a play on the returner. So you got to be able to take a shot when it comes down to that point of contact there. And if you can't trigger, then probably can't play on that either. So it's been good. We're developing some guys and played actually quite a few guys up front. So we're kind of settling into some good players.
How do you decide which punter runs out there to take that particular kick?
It's like the Coach Leach's beautiful mind thing, where a lot of that, kind of pulling out of thin air. But based on hashes, based on situation, based on what we think they're going to give us. Just trying to keep teams off balance, and it's probably a nightmare to kind of game plan for what we do.
We're going to see one land at the 6-inch line, like Coach Leach said he wanted on Monday.
Yeah, I'll take it. 6-yard line would be just as good. Just be more consistent doing that. But yeah, that was a heck of a punt. Yeah.
They don't get a lot of attention though, but your punters are really having a solid year.
Let's just fly under the radar. Let's just keep it up. They're doing a good job. And both guys are kind of veterans and savvy and understand the situation of the game and what their job is, and they're their margin for error. They're kind of reducing that part of it and actually kind of attacking some people. So they got to keep that up.
Do you think?
Not flying under the radar is Devin Achain at Texas A&M, almost 40 yards of return. Kind of goes without saying, but how important is it for your guys to eliminate the possibility of a big return?
100%, yeah, 100%. He's one of the best in the league and probably best in the country, and we've got one to counter him. So it's kind of our little personal challenge. It's their guy versus our guy, and we got to go down there and cover kicks. So hopefully the wind's blowing in Davis Wade. Things were flying out the back of the end zone, and if not, we're gonna go down there and tackle. That's the plan.
Do you think that there's been any extra emphasis just on place kicking coming into this week's game against A&M, knowing that it could come down to a field goal or something like that?
All the same. We practice those kicks. Every kick's a game kick. Every kick's a pressure kick. So It should just be a Tuesday practice. You go out there, line up, and you do what you do on Tuesday or Wednesday, or Thursday for that matter too. So every kick's the same kick. Go out there, do your job, and execute. And guys in front block for them, and put it through the pipes.
Coach, you obviously have your work cut out for you with Devin Achain. What impresses you about him? What makes him so good?
Well, he runs a 10-1 800 meters, so I don't know many college football players who have 100-meter times that probably qualify for the Olympics, and then obviously it probably doesn't go recognized enough, but they'll run in some runs, counter plays, and he'll keep it up inside an A gap and lower shoulder and get the kind of messy yards up inside, and he's actually a phenomenal blocker and pass protection. The number of linebackers you see him step up in an A gap or an interior gap and pop him under the chin and pass protection. He's a complete football player.
When you think about injuries and things that nature that happen around this league, I know it's kind of the grind of the SEC schedule. How do you keep your guys maybe from relaxing a little bit? When a guy like Manai Smith is no longer in the lineup.
I would say the stable of receivers they run out there that'll alert DBs and defenses real quick that there's no shortage of speed and skill and talent on that field. It's very unfortunate what happened to Manai Smith. He's a heck of a football player. Like I said, any guy, he'll line up at fullback in I formation and be at receiver the next play, be at tailback the next play. I mean, Achain and Smith, those guys are as talented and complete football players as there are in the country. It's unfortunate what happened to him, but they have quite the depth around him to replace him.
You saw Max Johnson last year, albeit with a different team. What stands out to you about him?
He's exactly what why he was a big-time recruit. Obviously, big frame, got the arm that makes all the throws, he can get out of trouble with his legs and doesn't get tackled easily. So, he did some things in that game when he played on LSU last year that, give you nightmares, and obviously we got quite the challenge ahead of us.
You talked a bit at the end of last season about some players that you wish maybe you had given some more snaps to over the course of the season. I mean, has that changed at all? How you approach this year, and maybe not wanting to regret it at the end of the year, maybe playing some guys a bit more these first few games.
Usually it's kind of based off the film, right? If a guy plays good and he didn't play a whole lot, you got regret you didn't play him more. If a guy plays poorly and he played quite a few snaps, you regret that you played him so much. So that's kind of a hindsight's 2020 thing, I guess.
Saw on obviously social media, Deshaun said he had surgery page and got hurt. What's kind of the depth there situation at will linebacker? I know you've got some guys that are interchangeable there. How much does that help in that situation?
I have to apologize. I haven't been on social media and seen anything, so we just came off the practice field. But yeah, we got a lot of talented linebackers, so I think we'll be just fine.
Do you see J.P. Purvis as a guy too? It seems like he's kind of settling into this new position. What have you seen from him? What's your confidence level?
Yeah, JP's doing a really good job on special teams. Obviously, he's got the, he's built just like an SEC linebacker like you want him. Big physical, can run, muscled up, and so I imagine he'll probably get some more opportunities, and hopefully he makes the most out of them. And I don't have regret about not playing as many snaps.
Well, John Lewis, how is he coming along after getting back in the mix?
Yeah, John's doing good. He dealt with a little bit of a knee tweak in camp, so that slowed him down early in the season. But he's back to full strength now, and who knows? Maybe if we get in the right situation, down in distance or a situation in the game, we might see him too.
When you think about this A&M offense too, it's like they want to be a little more balanced, but they spread the ball around so much with the receivers. You can't really focus on a guy now. Does that make your job more difficult?
I just think when you have that many weapons and talent around you, it's really easy to be balanced and distribute the ball all over the place. But obviously, Achain, they're going to get him his touches. I mean, you'd be crazy not to. The receivers running out there. I mean, the number of explosive plays and touchdowns that they could have had through these first few games. Coach Fisher and his staff, they're phenomenal play callers. I mean, they can dial up some shots versus they know exactly what look they're going to get in defense. They got schemed up. They had a post route wide open last week. He puts the ball right on there, just got dropped. They had about 3 others that they had dialed up the perfect route to be in on that coverage. For one reason or another, the ball didn't get there. Maybe the pass rush either got home or the quarterback just got off the read. But, If you watch the film on the copies we have, there are explosive touchdown plays all over the film so far.
Okay, everybody, Coach Hughes. Tony, it appeared, from our point of view, that safeties played pretty well last week. The week before, maybe not so much. What's your assessment, and how would you say where they are right now?
Well, I think the thing that we're still fighting for is consistency, especially this time of year. And you got spread offenses that get in a rhythm. They spread the field out, and you end up in a lot of one-on-one situations. And not giving up big plays, being able to tackle superior athletes in space, and just overall being consistent in the defensive calls.
What concerns you about this A&M offense?
They are very athletic. They're very fast. No doubt their overall team speed is probably the best we've seen. I know LSU is, superior team speed, but I'm not sure this A&M team, those guys can fly. They've got 10 100-meter guy, 25-foot long jumper. I mean, they got an Olympic track team playing football.
And Jimbo said it Monday, and Zach kind of touched on it too. They had a lot of near misses in that ball game against Arkansas that could have given them a little more of an advantage there. What do you see there? What's enabling those guys to get open even when they don't connect?
Well, it's superior athletic ability. A lot of them are highly recruited and come highly rated and highly touted, and they are as good as advertised, and so they don't turn the ball over. They've been pretty consistent in their overall play. They get a lot of yards, and they can explode on you in a lot of different ways, not just on offense, but some of those same kids can also explode on you in special teams.
I know that you focus on individual games, but with a chance to think over the 4 games already, not just your own position, but the secondary as a whole, what are they doing well?
We are consistent. We're not giving up explosive plays in the passing game. Explosive touchdowns may be the correct way to put that. And so when you don't give up points and you don't give up easy points, play after play after play, it gives you a chance to play another down. And then I think we've played really well on third down, getting teams off the field. I don't know exactly where we are statistically, but I think that we've done a good job there. So that's very important. Not playing a lot of plays, getting into games where you have to play 70, 80 snaps of defense. And we haven't been in that situation so far.
Obviously, you have experienced group. Have you seen the season maybe a bit more comfort level than those first 2 years with guys who have played now this third year with Coach Arnett's system?
Sure. There's no doubt that they know the ins and outs of the defense and the calls and the adjustments and things like that. So that's allowed us to be consistent because they do know what to do and they're not confused.
How important is it now as you get deeper in the season to find some guys that not just get them some snaps here and there, but have a second group, rotation guys ready to go any situation, any part of the field?
Well, it's very important because, playing in the Southeastern Conference, the league is so physical. In our next 3-4 games down the road here are going to be against some of the more physical teams in the league. So we have to have our depth ready to go because at a moment's notice, one guy may have to go and finish a game or even start the next game. So we need everybody to step up so that we can finish strong and play well in conference.
You talk about the stretch that you guys have coming up the next 3 or 4 games. I guess what do you tell your guys to maybe not look ahead and be daunted by the road that's ahead and just look at this game?
Well, Coach Leach does a great job with the team, keeping them focused, not looking down the road because the next the most important opponent is the next opponent, and so if you are not mentally and physically ready to play against the teams that we play against every single week, then you're going to be in trouble come Saturday. You can't turn it on Saturday when you get ready to kick it off. You've got to have a mental approach ready all week long, and so it's one game at a time is the approach that we have to take.
Coach, you were talking about explosive plays from this A&M offense. What do you guys need to do specifically in order to try to limit those plays on Saturday as much as possible?
Got to tackle in space. They're very athletic. They can they get the ball in space, they get one-on-one. If you've watched their tapes, they can catch the ball and make a couple of guys miss, and they've got the speed to turn it on and to go score a touchdown. And so when we get them in space, it's the thing they call in football, people call it Yak Yards after catch, and that's where they're really explosive. Is that sometimes a guy catch a ball, you're able to break on it, make a tackle, play the next play. But these guys, if you miss a tackle, they're super athletic, that they can go 70, 80 yards and be very explosive. So that's the key, is to try to tackle those guys and not miss tackles and get them on the ground and play the next play.